Hello and welcome to this May 2020 edition of the Lookup. My name's Alistair Leith and I'll be walking you through the presentation for May 2020. With the short days and longer nights drawing to an end, we'll no longer see proper nightfall until well into the evening now. So it's not getting dark until much past 9:30, 10 o'clock, and it's going to get later. However, what with the lockdown, those who are willing to wait up, there's still some delights that we can see. So bear with me while we take a look at what we've got. The topics we'll review are the key dates as usual. We'll look at some constellations and stars, some planets, meteor showers, and other things we can look out for too. And get a pen and pencil ready if you want to make some notes. Key dates then. 1st of May, so we're kicking off with the moon that's going to be wandering near the brightest star there in the constellation of Leo. Leo is one of the few constellations that actually looks like what it's supposed to look like. It's Leo the lion, and Regulus is the brightest star in Leo, and the moon is going to be pretty close to that on the 1st of May. So a good opportunity to use the brightness of the moon to find Regulus if you're not already sure where it is. 5th and 6th of May we have a meteor shower called Eta Carinae, Aquarids, and basically that is dust that circles like a donut sort of thing around the sun, and this is actually dust that's been left behind Halley's Comet. So if you remember Halley's Comet when it last visited back in '96, when I was getting into astronomy some 35 years ago, it is courtesy of that comet that we have that meteor shower. There are rumours that that comet is slowly heading back to us. I'll be well into my sort of late 70s, I think, if I ever get a chance to see it. Even though I never saw it back in the 1980s, it did nevertheless leave a hobby with me that has lasted me to this day. Moving on after my life's history. 7th of May we have got another supermoon. So this is where it's not going to be as big and bright as it was last April, but nevertheless certainly worth looking out for. 12th and 13th of May, this is where we have what we call a conjunction, and you'll see what we mean by that a bit later on in the presentation. The moon will be near Jupiter and Saturn, so it'll be quite close to Jupiter and Saturn. And believe you and me, if you can get to see this, you're certainly going to want to be taking the camera out. Now, Jupiter and Saturn are not as bright as Venus that we've been seeing in the western sky, but nevertheless, Jupiter is quite a fair bit bright still. It's certainly noticeable. Beyond Venus, it's the next brightest object in the night sky usually. And Saturn, a little bit fainter, but still nevertheless there to spot. 14th of May we've got the quarter moon, and the 15th of May we've got the moon near Mars. That's still going to be quite fairly early into the morning, early hours of the morning that the planets will present themselves. 21st of May we've therefore got Mercury near Venus, and Venus is still at the moment an evening star lying in the west. You can't mistake it. If anybody's wondering what it is, yes, that's Venus. And but we are going to be losing Venus behind the sun towards the end of the month. So make the most of Venus while you see it. It's always a delight to see through a small telescope or a pair of binoculars. You can make out the phase. We've already been through that. That's pretty much the slide that's been left in for the last couple of months about what a supermoon is. So there we are. I won't go into too much detail about that now. The planets, I think I've already said most of this. Venus continues to dominate the sky in the west, and we've said that a small telescope will show some details. Mars, Jupiter and Saturn are still not very well placed at all, and I've left the enough of observation. I'm sorry about that. But Mars, Jupiter and Saturn, you're going to have to wait up till fairly early, well, sort of late into the evening, early morning, so around about probably 3:30. Those planets will start to present themselves. So well worth waiting up for them if you can. But when we've lost Venus, we're not well served for planets, I'm afraid, for quite some time. But nevertheless, I mentioned about the conjunction, didn't I? So here we have it. We've got, get my mouse involved, so we've got the moon here on the 12th, and that's going to be quite close to Saturn and and Jupiter, so it's a good a photo opportunity there, and that shows how it will progress through the through April over the coming couple of days. So well worth viewing that as the moon progresses on, and you've got Mars just up there as well. So not far from the constellation of Capricorn is where we are. So it's quite a nice conjunction. However, you are talking about around about half past three in the morning, in the south, sort of southeast region, and it's very low in the horizon. So unless you've got a clear view, it's going to be hard to see. But nevertheless, if you can get it, please do, and please also take a picture of the event as well to show us. Also, I'd like to talk about the Virgo galaxy cluster at around about this time of the year. So Leo is slowly but surely going past its best. There is the star Regulus, by the way, that I mentioned before. So we now know where Regulus is, and this is obviously Leo the Lion. Behind Leo, you've got the Virgo constellation, Virgo the Virgin, and inside this sort of bowl area is literally a mass of at least around about 1,300 galaxies. With a pair of binoculars, do please take a look at it, especially if you've got dark skies. You'll be treated to a whole series of fuzzy patches. Each one of those fuzzy patches is a galaxy. If I was to label every single one of them, that would be really quite cluttered. But nevertheless, I've labelled a few of them up there for you. You've got M85, M91, M90, M86. The only one I haven't mentioned is M87. I'm surprised that's not been listed up there. M87 is well worth viewing. It's the site of that black hole that they imaged last year, that face-on black hole. And what M87 is it's a very compact elliptical galaxy. It's a galaxy that essentially has been through a few collisions. The collisions are over, the galaxies have merged, and essentially what you've got is, I should have a picture to show you of it really, but if you go into Space Cadets, I think I've probably uploaded a couple in there. If not, then I will do. But it's like a jet that comes out of it, if you've got a really nicely resolved picture of it, and in the centre of that jet is a black hole, a supermassive black hole. It's one of the largest ones, if not the largest one that we're aware of. So the great thing about that galaxy is we can certainly see it with the telescope quite easily. So certainly take a look at that region. And M86, I believe, is another elliptical galaxy, and that's that is the brighter one of that group. So certainly worth taking a look at that cluster. Our Milky Way is part of it, and that is part of an even bigger, larger supercluster. Massive number of galaxies there, really is a massive number of galaxies, and I'll be exploring that quite a fair bit into the years to come. I'll post a picture up in the science lab so you can see that and see some of the galaxies in there. So certainly worth taking a look there at that galactic cluster just behind Leo there. And that is pretty much what I wanted to discuss, except one thing that's just come as a kind of a stop press. We have a comet that could be coming into the night sky. It's called Comet Swan. Don't ask me where the name comes from, but it's C/2020 F8 (Swan). Please don't ask me what that means, but I will put up an explanation at some point. But there is a comet called that in our night sky, and whereas the previous one has let us down a bit in terms of the promised brightness, this one looks like it could mean business and could brighten up nicely into May. So watch this space, and if I do get a clear night and I'll be out there, if you're up late as I am, then by all means we'll have a zoom and we'll take a look at that galaxy, a galaxy comet. Sorry, I'm recording this about 2:30 in the morning. I'm devoted like that, but we'll see if we can image that for you and get a photograph of that for you to download as well. So that's pretty much wrapping up what we've got for May 2020 for you. Keep looking up. The nights are going to be drawing in later. They are going to get shorter, but keep looking up. Always worth it. This is a very galaxy rich season, and certainly worth taking a look at what's up there still. Keep looking up, and thank you for listening.